Hi everyone, my name is Dee and welcome to Books and Quirks. Today I'm going to be talking about the books I read this week, so it's a wrap-up video. I read 4 books this week and I really enjoyed 3 out of the 4, but I just thought I'd tell you about them. So the first book that I want to talk about is All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jean Anders. This book was a little bit strange and I'm not quite sure how I felt about it. For the most part, I really didn't enjoy it. I felt like the plot was really random. Not a lot was tied up at the end. But it basically follows 2 main characters, Patricia and Lawrence. Patricia is kind of a loner, and she also finds out that she is a witch and she has the ability to talk to animals. So the book starts out when these 2 main characters are small children. So that's the story of Patricia and then her growing up. And Lawrence is a kind of tech genius, and he is building an artificial intelligence robot, computer. And he is also building a time machine that can go ahead in time 2 seconds. And they form a friendship, and basically the story is kind of like saving the world. It was really strange. A lot of the time in the book I was confused and I wasn't really sure what was going on. Even by the end of the book I still felt kind of confused. So I didn't really enjoy that one, but the other 3 I'm going to talk about I really did like. So the other book that I talked about last week during Friday Reads, I finished, and that is Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. This book I absolutely loved, and I'm so glad I took it in knowing ahead of time that it was going to be a very dark book. I mean, I didn't know the plot or any spoilers ahead of time, but you know, this book has gotten very scathing reviews, and there's been only a couple of people that I've heard positive reviews on, and those 2 people said that, you know, you really have to take this as just a regular fantasy novel, and not just a fantasy novel, but a dark fantasy novel. You know, this is marketed as a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and although it does have hints of Beauty and the Beast, it's not the Disney story, and it's not a fluffy, sweet, cute romance of Beauty and the Beast. This is not that. So, I really would recommend this book, but you have to go into it knowing that it's not going to be like other retellings. It's not going to be like A Court of Thorns and Roses, or Beastly, or any other type of Beauty and the Beast retelling you've read before. You really have to take this knowing that it's going to be a very dark novel, but still very enjoyable, and it does have hints of Beauty and the Beast. So I can see where the inspiration came from, you know, with parts of this book, but for the most part, it's just a very dark fantasy. So the next book that I read after finishing those 2 was Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. This I've seen on a couple of channels, mostly science fiction, sci-fi fantasy booktubers like Sam of Sam's Nonsense and Conrad of The Deckled Edge, and I've been wanting to pick this up ever since I saw it on their channels because it seemed really interesting. So this book is about an anomaly in nature. It's about this area called Area X, and it's been sort of bordered off from the rest of the world, and it's along the southeast coastline. And this area, very strange things happened. When we start off the book, we know that they're beginning their 12th expedition into this area to find out more about it. And we also know from the first couple of pages that all of the other expeditions, either they didn't come back, or they all shot each other, or they shot themselves, or, you know, just very strange things happen in this area. And they are beginning their 12th expedition into this area. What's interesting about this book is that none of the characters have names, so they're just known, the 12th expedition is for four people, and they're known as the biologist, the anthropologist, the surveyor, and the psychologist. And the psychologist is the one that sort of leads them on this expedition. And this book is really, it's a sci-fi horror, kind of, but it's not the kind of horror you would think of. It's not, it doesn't make you jump out of your seat. It doesn't it's not like, a serial killer type horror movie that you might see on TV or anything like that. It's just very different. It's just about this area and this, anomaly in the area and all of the creepiness that surrounds the area. From the beginning of this book, from about 10 pages in until I finished, I just had this constant sense of creepiness or unease or nervousness. And it's part of a trilogy, so this is the first book in the trilogy, and next week I'm going to be reading the second book, which is called Authority. But it was so good, this book. It's not my usual type of book that I read, but I really enjoyed it, and I just think that if you like sci-fi, if you like creepy type of reads, or if you like to read creepy reads in October, this would be a perfect book, I think, to pick up, because it's just that good. And the last book that I picked up and finished this past week was P.S. I Like You by Casey West. This came in my uppercase box for August, I think. and I absolutely loved it. I'm kind of on the fence with YA contemporary romance. I like some of them, but then the others, sometimes are a little bit juvenile for me. But this one I really loved, and I was surprised. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I've never read anything by this author before, so I was really pleasantly surprised. And I absolutely loved it. It was a sweet, fluffy romance. And like I said, some of these YA contemporary romances are hit or miss for me. But this was definitely a hit. I just thought it was so sweet, so heartwarming. It follows Lily and Cade. Lily is, she's a quiet girl. She's very antisocial. She just has her one best friend, Isabel, that she, confides in. And during one of her classes in the first chapter, she's very bored in her chemistry class, so she decides to write like lyrics and stuff down. She's a songwriter in her notebook, and when the teacher takes her notebook away, she decides to write a couple of lines on the actual wooden desk, so defacing the desk. And then she comes in the next day, and there is another line following her line to the song that she was, to whatever song it was that they were writing about, and they start corresponding from there. I just thought it was so interesting and so sweet. I didn't think it was too juvenile, and I just thought it was heartwarming and nice, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I had a big smile on my face when I finished this book. I just loved it that much. What I will say is that this book was predictable. I knew what was going to happen from the first couple of chapters, but that didn't deter me from continuing on. That didn't make me enjoy the book any less. So I really, really liked it. So that is all I have for you. Those are the 4 books that I finished during the week. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.